Hi, good evening. This is Gene from Listening in Radio, KB9001SWL, KB9001SSB, KB9001MWDX, and my ham radio call sign WN9ZWC, and also add on there my new worldwide sidebander call sign WWS4209. But anyway, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? I'm here just to talk about a project that I'm working on. I'm revamping my entire radio system in my truck because I was out last week working a bike ride between Perry, Iowa and Ripley, Iowa, and I got out there and started having some issues. And as it turns out that my setup and my connections in the vehicle and the way I had things laid out did not work as I expected them to. And sure enough, it kind of always worked up to that point. I never really had too much of a problem. But, Murphy's Law, when you get out somewhere when you need it, sure enough, it's going to go bad. And it kind of went bad. So first off, I had to use my phone to do APRS, and that was fine. But then I realized on the APRS, I get a little bit lost out there trying to get to my my post for the bike ride. Eventually, in fact, I got notified by dispatcher, like, "Why are you way out by this town? You should be over here." So I got a little bit turned around. But once I got that straightened out. But when I got out there, I realized that I had a voltage problem in my main 2-meter radio, which I really needed, and I had a portable with me as well too. And I realized I programmed it portable, but I had the wrong tone in it, so there were some issues of catching up I had to do once I got to where I was supposed to be. But anyway, let me show you this real quick. Okay, so this is what I'm working on right now, and this is a far cry from where I was at. And I had another President radio. It was a President Johnny 3, and I decided to go sideband, so I bought a President McKinley. I wanted to have sideband CB in my vehicle as well as my 2-meter, but this is my Kenwood TM281, and it's a great radio. I really love it. I like the fact that it has the speaker out front, but I really didn't have things mounted very well. I kind of built, I bought one makeshift mount from Walcott Radio, and I kind of put that in just sitting on the floor. It wasn't the best situation, and I had built a wooden stand for my CB radio, but that didn't work out too well either. And once I got to operating, I had a voltage drop across my electrical system. I don't know what caused it, but I could see that there was some drop in voltage, and suddenly my radio was cutting out. So basically, when I was sitting there, I literally had to tear out the CB. I had to tear out this radio. I had to run a different wire, and I had to run I was using like a cigarette lighter, which they don't recommend, and I should have never done that. So I recommend not doing that. And I had it plugged in, but I plugged it into a different outlet, and it worked for me for the rest of the event. And thank God it did, because I needed to be out there for the people who are on the bike ride. So that ended up working out pretty well. So what I'm doing is I'm going to mount this on this new metal mount I bought, which is really, really neat. It's very low profile. As you can see, it's only about 8 inches across, and everything kind of moves to where you need it to move, so I should be able to bolt that down pretty well. And I'm going to take the President McKinley here, and I'm going to stack it on top of the other one, and that's kind of where it's going to sit. But what I'm going to do is everything is going to be run directly from the battery, and I've also purchased this junction box. And when I start pulling this together, what I will do is I'll show everybody what it looks like so everybody can see what I'm doing. Maybe what I'm doing can help somebody else out, and I'll see how it all works out. And I had to take this more seriously, and usually, with the hobby, the ham radio hobby, and what I do here on Listening in Radio, I kind of like to make it fun. And that's always been one of my goals. I'm like really eclectic, and you guys know that for who's been watching my videos. I'm into shortwave listening. I'm into ham radio, CB, medium wave DX. I'm into everything. I just think it's a great hobby, and I want to have fun with it because it is fun. It's a riot. But what I realized, and I had to be brought back to task on, because I was in the military, and it's something I'll discuss in another video that I'm planning on doing, but I was in communications in the military. I was a Navy signalman, and I was also a wire systems installer in the National Guard, as well as military police. I served military police too, and amongst some other things that I'll get into, again, maybe in a later video. But I was brought back to task to remember that emergency communications is serious, and our function, like for ham radio, and even the reason we all started having CBs in our vehicle were for safety purposes. So there's a serious note to what we do. And in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk a lot more about like that serious side where communications is concerned and your safety and the safety of your family and public safety, and give you maybe some pointers and some things to think about. Of course, after, I explain a little bit more. But again, I like to have fun, and hopefully we'll keep having fun at this hobby, and we'll be living in a better world pretty soon. So we'll see what happens in the long run. But anyhow, hey, have a great night. I really appreciate it. I don't want to keep you too long. Time is precious to us all. So go spend some time with your families and talk to your buds on the radio. All right. Have a great night. Bye-bye.